right now you're doing more or less a straight ahead thing with a saxophone player. You got the quartet happening, and what I wanted to know is how what approach you took in the Blue Matter band, quote unquote, this band with Dennis and Gary, as opposed to what you're doing now. I mean, how?
That's a good question. I mean, the band that you're hearing on this video, this is a reunion of a band that hasn't really played together for 4 or 5 years, something like that. And when I got this band together, it was after I had left Miles Davis's group. And you know, I always liked rock and fusion and everything, but primarily I always thought of myself as a jazz guitar player and was studying tunes and jazz. And then when I got in Miles's group, because of his influence, I really started to explore playing with electric, you know, rhythm sections and with funk type drums and electric bass and synths and everything. And this band is the band that grew out of my experience with Miles. And when I wanted to write music and set myself up to have my own band, and I met Gary and Dennis, who are so creative in that idiom, as you know, as you can tell from this tape, and are so wonderful. And then, you know, I decided to go and to play with acoustic jazz instruments again, you know, with saxophone, acoustic bass, and regular drum set. And, you know, I'm not into, I mean, I'm not really that into what the differences are. I mean, I'm not into the labels, you know, to the categories, even though they're true. You know what I mean? But they're not really true.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, I'm just playing in both bands, you know. Maybe I'll use more distortion with Gary and Dennis and let the guitar really sing out like you can when they're bashing and it's real electric, you know. And I like that about it, you know. But the thing is that we always picked funk-type material that really swung.
In terms of your funk or rock or blues influences, are there any people in particular that you really got into? I mean...
Well, B.B. King, because he you know, when I was first started, and blues really got me when I was 14 or so. And B.B. King, hearing him live and just being blown away with the way he could bring that blues sound to the guitar, you know.
Yeah.
And he's a master. And I think I tried to copy him early on. I kind of learned to play from learning a couple of his licks, but I never, you know, like some of these blues aficionados that play it exactly, you know, I'm not into that. But, you know, yeah, him. But, you know, as far as rock and roll and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever listen to Jimmy Nolan, the guy from James Brown's band?
Yeah, every time I heard a James Brown record.
The beginning to Trim is like real kind of...
well, it's those ninth chords.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, you know, I didn't know it was Jimmy Nolan until later, you know. But yeah, I mean, because the first band I played in, I tried to play, you know. You know, and the whole musical genre of soul music, rock and roll, and all that stuff really gave me what I can play on my guitar. Singers too, and other instrumentalists, and also the kind of the bluesier side of jazz music. You know, Jimmy Smith records and Stanley Turrentine and people like that.
We just talked about the James Brown type chords in the beginning of Trim. Maybe you want to talk about the whole song?
Well, Trim starts off with this little intro, you know.
Right.
And then it's got a song, you know. And that's the A section. Right. And that does it a couple of times, and then it goes into this whole long kind of, you know, dramatic pedal section. Through all these changes, you know. And then back to the... So it's a circle. It's just a long way to complete a big circle, and that's what I do in composing a lot, is start with something and do a lot of other stuff that somehow gets back to the same place again, you know.
Yeah. I guess when one listens to you play, they'll hear a lot of chromaticism, and I was wondering if you could talk about chromatic concepts. And,
Sure.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of chromaticism in bebop music, you know,
Yeah.
and so I mean, just to outline a major seventh chord, G major. That's kind of something you hear a lot. That is the chromatic part of the scale. So I mean, it's something that's in music all over the place. But when I played with Miles Davis, I was just amazed at how he could use the chromatic scale for really the basis of a lot of things that he did. And I found that if you just get sort of comfortable with having the chromatic scale under your fingers, you can improvise all kinds of things, you know.
We just saw the nag, and that kind of reminds me of you have
some of the things I was playing in there.
in the nag,
Yeah.
and the chromatic ideas in the head. Kind of there's something.
Oh yeah, that thing is right out of that mile.
Yeah.
So it's in D flat, but it has those little chromatic
It's like a D flat
alterations.
basic tonality. One of my favorite tunes of yours is "Still Warm." It has this really nifty intro with these like 4 strange chords, and then you go really, I would say, I won't say inside, but I'll say it's very kind of diatonic there.
Uh-huh.
And maybe you could little talk about it, show us the voicings and how you approached it and everything.
Yeah, well, it starts with, this intro. G sus 13, A flat major 7, augment 11, or G in the bass. G's in the bass for all this.
Okay.
A flat sus with G in the bass. E triad with G in the bass. And back to the same chords in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, the second chord, you called it a flat.
A flat major 7, augment 11.
Augment 11th over a G. I've heard that chord referred to as a Phrygian
Yeah,
chord
well, it's
too.
going. That if you think of it as G as the root, the Phrygian
Yeah, how would you
scale
explain
fits.
that? Yeah. So yeah, the G Phrygian would fit over that chord. I see. I guess it's easier to call it G Phrygian than to call it
Yeah, right.
A
Yeah.
flat, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Right.
Once you get to the melody section of the tune, you start off at again a E over a G, right? Now what chord is that? It's like an A. It's like an A flat 6/9 kind of deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that would, it's like F sus with an A flat in the bass.
Oh,
or-
okay.
Yeah, it's a 6/9 chord.
Okay. A minor.
Yeah, that sort of comes down.
Yeah.
Make the A minor.
And F sus.
D with F sharp in
Right,
the
bass,
bass.
right.
Back to the G
G
sus.
sus, yeah. Back to. Okay. And now here's the cool part.
A major 7 sharp 5, or C with A flat in the bass. And then rolling on a river. Somehow that's like Proud Mary. I'm not sure how. Don Grolick joked about that. I can't.
Really? Now that chord is like an F sus with an A bass, kind
Yes.
of? Okay.
And then that's same as this going like. There it is,
There
Proud
it
Mary.
is, Proud Mary, right?
That's
That's that
G9.
That's your
again with G in
favorite
the
chord
bass.
again, it seems.
That was my favorite chord in
In
1987.
1887, yeah.
Then C major sharp 5 to
D over C
D
or
over C.
whatever. Yeah,
then F minor 6 with C in the
great.
bass. And then now we've modulated to another key somehow. I'll sit there at home
Yeah.
and just say, well, where would you? Then try something that just sounds right, and then I'll realize afterwards that it's up or down a minor third or whatever it is. But I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah. It's really seamless.
Back to this.
Back to
But now finally resolving after the whole thing to a C major tonality. So the whole thing led up to this.
just running up a scale in the bass, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that whole thing led up to the key of C major. It never played in C major until the.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it finally resolves
It's
there
really
at the
cool.
end. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that was a nice cadence.
So it's like the whole tune is like this huge back cycle ending up in
Yeah, into C major. You could look at it like that. I
Yeah.
never thought of that
Yeah.
until right now, but yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's really neat. You solo over that the G pedal with the 4 chords in there. I was wondering if you can give us some kind of
Sure.
idea as to
Well, on this tune, I mean, the way I would approach this tune would be, you know, just play right in the tonalities of those
over
chords.
each chord. Yeah.
Yeah, of the G sus.
Right.
So that would be kind of like G mixolydian mainly. And then the next chord. Now, so I would A flat Lydian scale or G Phrygian. They're the same scale. Now the next chord is
This one's weird.
is a very weird one, but for the scale it only changes one note. So now A flat major works.
Wow.
I don't like weird scales,
Yeah.
just because I mean if it's something that I have to learn, I can't improvise in it. But then the next one,
next one
E
is-
E over G. Now the diminished scale would fit that nice. And
Yeah.
it's all scales that aren't that hard, really. It's, you know, so it's G mixolydian, A flat Lydian, A flat major,
Mhm.
G diminished with a half whole progression. So
Great. Can we go around a couple
Yeah,
of times?
okay.
Okay, great.
yeah,
That's really cool.
nice progression.
Yeah, very nice progression. We just saw a really great version of you and your band playing Time Marches On, and I have to ask you, the voicings that you played in that intro, they're really neat. If you could show them to us.
Yeah, and those are the chords for the kind of the A section of the
Right.
tune, but it's B minor 7 flat 5, B7 with a ninth, A augmented 7th, G7, E7 flat 9, D7 sharp 9, G sus, E9 kind of over G sharp, A sus 9 2, so A7 altered really.
It's a neat chord.
A7, what is it? Sharp 9 flat 13.
When you say altered, that can mean any of the alterations, sharp or flat 5, sharp or
Right.
flat 9, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's your choice, your call. Which of those altered tones you want to put in?
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Just you can alter the ninth and sharpen or flatted and sharp the 5th or flat the 5th.
I'd like to ask you compositionally how you came up with those chords,
Well,
because
this is a nice progression. I'm always trying to find nice progressions to improvise
Yeah.
on, and it's nice to start on a half diminished chord, or
Right.
the minor 7 flat
Right.
5 is also called half diminished. Then resolve it down a half step. That's kind of like coming from something. I don't know what. A7. And then instead of going to D minor,
right,
it goes to G7. That whole section is in the key of D, but it doesn't really hit the D chord until later on. But it's B minor 7 flat 5,
it's like a D minor 6, right?
D minor 6,
Right.
yeah, B flat 7, A augmented. Then instead of going to the tonic, the D minor, it goes to G7, E7 flat 9, then finally to the
Right.
D7,
Yeah.
and then to this little. And then it doesn't go to D minor, it goes back to the. That's what's that called? That's a deceptive cadence. So this is a nice progression that's coming out of harmony and something nice to improvise on.
Yeah. Maybe you could talk about the pedal tone, the fact that the F is always on the in the top.
Yeah, though that's just a guitar kind of thing actually. Just it's nice having that that top note be the same.
It's kind of neat because it really unifies the chords.
Yeah.
So when you're playing over the chords to the beginning to Time Marches On, you're actually hitting every change. Is what you're doing.
On this one,
Yeah. And got.
There are common tones and common tonalities between, the things. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how many notes are the same, for each one, but
The F, I
there's
guess, right?
kind of the F works for all of them, but it's kind of a D minor type sound. But I'm trying to play the changes.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Okay.
On the A7 altered chord, I
Yeah,
called it. I mean, C minor pentatonic works really good on that.
Really?
This is a nice little
Let's
cheap
see.
trick. For
Okay. Oh, good, good.
The C minor pentatonic includes all the altered notes.
I like to just talk about this one chord because this is kind of a strange chord, the minor seventh with a sharp 5.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I guess that's a minor 7.
Yeah, that's what it says on the chart. But you also called it an E9 with a over.
Yeah, that's better because it implies a flat of the D. The D would be in there in the scale too.
Yeah.
So it would really be like A flat minor 7,
With
sharp 5, flat 5. Like really E7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking E7 on
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a G dominant tonality too. Okay, E7. Yeah. And then to an A7, to an A7 alto.
Okay. Let's talk about some more of the chord voicing ideas that you use. I've noticed that you're not like the traditional block chord player, you know, that say a guy like Joe Pass who plays just these
I can't
block
do it.
chords.
I wish I could.
Oh,
I
come
wish
on.
I wish I could do what Joe Pass does. It's phenomenal.
But yeah, it's true. It is phenomenal. But what you do is equally phenomenal, and it's a lot more open. It's airy. You seem to use intervals instead of chords, but with those intervals, you hint at a real broad harmony.
Yeah, you don't need all the notes of the chord to,
Right.
to outline the...
So what are the crucial notes that you would need in any?
Well, on this one, you know, on time marches on. Let's see. Those are all kind of sixths.
Yeah,
right?
and that's the thing. You use a lot of double stops when you do your chord melody. You'll
Yeah.
like go from one to another. And
You know, as far as like exactly what notes you need
Mhm.
to make the sound of the chord, it depends on, I guess, what note came before and came after.
Right, right. Do you follow the rule that you need the third and the seventh, and then
Yeah, I think
that
so.
kind of thing?
I think so.
So maybe we can just show the third and the seventh to say a dominant chord, and
That would be-
so, okay,
For G7,
For
you can just
G7.
play the tritone, the F and the B.
right. And then on top of that, you can add any altered tones you want. Right. Right. As opposed to playing the whole big old block chord.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in a group where the bass is playing the roots.
Yeah.
You don't have to play. I mean, it sounds better for you not
That's a good point.
not to play the whole chord.
Right.
So you don't have to play all the notes. You just get the nicer, leaner sound in the
Mhm.
band without
Yeah.
it.
A neat thing you also do with double stops is like you'll play dissonances together. Like you'll play the flat 9.
Yeah,
and the
well, that's
sharp
right.
9
If we're
together.
in G7 and all, so many, I mean, you know,
Okay.
just play the root. Just
Right,
play a G.
okay.
So we're in that key. You know, I can play. You know. I mean, all those are little two-note groups.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play a lot of little two-note
Yeah.
things from the scale.
So, smoke and performance of Blue Matter there. It's great. That bass line, did you come up with that, or that in the very beginning?
In the beginning, yeah. Yeah, I wrote that on the guitar.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what tonality that was.
your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, really? Yeah, just.
Well, it's sort of like. Sort of D, F, B flat in between those.
That kind of thing.
And that's B flat. It's sort of like between D, F minor, then sort of like B flat,
B flat, yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
So at the end of the tune, I'm improvising kind of around those.
Right. Yeah.
But just kind of, you know.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Because a lot of tonalities can be different things, you know.
So from that intro with the bass, you go through this really great A section. Maybe you could tell us about it.
Well, it's just a nice melody and string of chords, but. Ends up in B minor, from F
yeah.
minor, you know. So. Then there's also a nice sequence going down. That one gets back to B minor.
And then you just. In the interlude to this tune, Blue Matter, you have these really neat little triad-type punches.
Right.
Maybe you could show them to us.
I mean,
Yeah, right. It's kind of almost organ-like, the way they're voiced.
I guess, yeah, but having the root on top like that is not quite as guitaristic
Yeah.
as there's some.
So you're playing, what's that, B minor?
Yeah.
And then,
And then sometimes I'll have the keyboard play that and I'll harmonize it. So can you play this?
yeah, sure.
3, 4. See, I'll play. And you play.
Yeah. And you're playing like, are you playing a fifth? No, a major
That's a
seventh.
major
Yeah,
seventh.
major seventh.
Scale-wise, major
So,
seventh.
yeah.
But now, what would happen if I played 6? Let's try that. 3, 4. That's even more harmony
Yeah.
because neither of those notes are in your chord.
Right. Let's hear it again.
3, 4. Ooh, that's weird, but I didn't do that on the record.
I know.
Went-
Yeah.
Then we went up a minor third.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Is there any other inversions that you might think of playing over that? Like, would you play like a
Yeah,
a
you
B
can do
minor?
that
Yeah?
too. What happens if you do it like that? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you do that.
I'll do that. Yeah.
3, 4. Yeah, that's cool. You can do
Yeah.
that. But what would happen if I started like? Okay, 3, 4. Woo, that's thick. Because I'm playing down here, and you're
C
playing
minor over C sharp minor.
Yeah, start on C. And it's all in the same scale, so it
Yeah.
kind of works. 3, 4. Woo, that's great.
Yeah, it is.
Wish I had thought of that on the record. It's too late now.
Yeah, but it's really.
But
neat
that's
that you
like
can-
some big band stuff. That's like Duke Ellington
Yeah.
or Gill, you know, Evans.
Yeah.
Those the way those guys orchestrate. And what we just did with 2 guitars is a great thing to do. You know, I did that with Bill Frisell on various things
Oh, really? Yeah.
because you know that he'll just run for those other chords, you know, in the tune. It can really work with 2 guitars. You can really orchestrate.
Yeah. I was wondering if you have any advice to guitar players who might want to expand their musicianship, creativity, anything that they can draw upon, or.
It's important to get away from, or to start to visualize music on the guitar as a verse to shapes, you know, to see that this is a minor second and a fifth. It's so easy on a piano, you know,
Yeah.
to see that that's a second and a fifth like that. But to but to start to be able to think about that on guitar as a musical thing, you know, B, C, and G, those 3 notes, which is what it is, you know, instead of a position or a grip. The number one thing is, besides that, is to just be creative. And it sounds easy to just say that.
Yeah.
But we all get so hung up in trying to learn our instruments, and it's so hard to play the guitar. And it's such a, you know, a grind to try and get this. But I mean, really what's really important too, you know, on the way to mastering technique and all this stuff, is to just keep in mind that creativity is and imagination are probably, you know, something you had before you ever played the guitar, and to allow that to come through and to come through in your music. And you know, it's easy to block that off and to get too obsessed with the mechanics of playing your instrument. And that's only natural because it's so hard to do it, you know, and you're obsessed with trying to get it. But you're not going to really be successful unless you let your natural creativity come out. And that's something I have to relearn and tell myself over and over again. Yeah.
A lot of people want to know about your pedal board. What exactly do you use? What kind of effects do you have? Maybe you can kind of show us.
I'll show you.
Thank you.
Here they are, right over here. First I have this Boss chorus pedal here, which, you know, I run stereo, right? So it's that's what gives it the stereo split, the chorus.
Yeah.
And I run that almost all the time. And then there's the next one, the Rat, a distortion unit, which I have usually, I mean, I sort of tweak this right here between very little distortion and a lot, for depending on what kind of sound I want, but I'm always messing with that. I have this sort of cheap Ibanez parametric EQ to just put on when I'm playing with a band and I want to get a whole lot of treble, since I use a lot of bassy kind of sound. Occasionally I'll need that. And I use this old Ibanez chorus pedal here for kind of a phony Leslie sound, you know. It's that organ sound, you know.
Great. Yeah, sure. It's like an organ trio thing.
Right. And then this is just the power supply over here. Here's an A-B box, so I can tune up with this tuner. So now I constantly am tuning up because I always think I'm out of tune. And I can do it silently by using the A-B box. And that's it, pretty much. That's pretty straight ahead.
So John, what can I say? It's been such a thrill having you here today and talking to you, and really like to thank you for your generosity. You've really opened a lot of doors for us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank